Where are you at?
Oh,
Why don't I see you, Justin?
oh, I'm sorry
There,
about that. There we go.
I'm like, what happened?
It disappeared.
It disappeared. Okay, so this is what is today? It's today's the
Today
ninth,
is Sunday. Today is Sunday,
the ninth, right?
the 9th. Yes. Sunday the 9th.
All right. So 9 days into our 21 day challenge of speaking our wants.
Mhm.
And one of the wants you were saying, Justin, is to be more intentional with your time, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you're exhausted every week, it's not because of how much stuff you have to do. It's not because of how hard you're working. It might be partly because of how hard you're working, but you're working too hard. In other words, it's because you're working without a strategy. You're working without intention.
I
And you're
guess
just
I get
kind of,
that.
yeah. Um, so I think like really looking at our calendars, looking at our average days, because look, there's what is it? In a week, there's 168 hours. You sleep about 60 of them, give or take, sometimes less. I mean, some people are sleeping way less than that, which leaves you about 108 hours in a week, right? Uh, so you'd break that up 20 hours a week working on the business, 20 hours a week with family, and then there's enough time left over for rest and relaxation because you still need to like decompress. You can't just be like going hard every single week with no rest and um without any relaxation, right?
I
So
agree. I
yeah.
mean, I'm always saying I don't think life is meant to be lived just constantly grinding and, you know, not giving yourself attention and
Mhm.
spending time with family and friends, right? We
Right.
need we need nature, we need family. I I don't know. I don't think it's much of a life if you're always just working.
No, it's a horrible life. It's a shitty life. That's not what anybody wants, and it's never why anybody gets into business, right? We were talking about this like a couple days ago. It's like this isn't why we got into entrepreneurship. We didn't get into entrepreneurship because we wanted to be working ourselves to death every single day. The whole point of being an entrepreneur is to buy yourself your freedom back and not be dependent upon someone else to write you a paycheck, right? You're dependent on yourself. You're just dependent on the people you surround yourself with, right? um, so being intentional, I think, is a big thing that'll help us move the needle forward, right? And not burn ourselves out.
I agree. Be intentional with our time as far as what we choose to do during in that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Like the time that we are together and meeting, should I be importing lists into the CRM?
I don't believe you should be doing that yet.
Right, right. Should I be like underwriting every single deal that comes in during that time? I don't know. I mean, that's what we need to talk about. That's what we need to decide, right? I don't mind underwriting. I actually enjoy underwriting. Um, Call
I
me
don't
crazy.
mind it. I mean, I understand majority of how to do it and everything. It's just, I don't know, like something we've been talking about in our women's real estate group is using your natural abilities, right? And something I speak about too on a regular basis. Um, why not use what you do just naturally in your business, right? Like, can I do spreadsheets? Can I underwrite?
Mhm.
Can I make phone calls to sellers and agents? I could
Mhm.
do all of that. We can all do all of that. If,
Mhm.
you know, is it something that I personally want to focus on? No. I like to focus on the people of the business. You know, whether that be they need a little bit of moral support or they need some other kind of support in business, right? And we don't always have the answers. So it helps to know more people that possibly have those answers. So
Right.
I believe that if we focus more on what comes naturally to us, that it ends up being like, a conveyor belt type of thing with the right people.
Yeah, that's the idea for sure. That's the ideal situation. Everybody's kind of in their lane, doing what they want to be doing, and it is just a conveyor belt, right? And that's how we want to set it up. And that's where like we decide like what do we actually want to focus on, right? I can tell you that I do not want to focus on building a wholesale operation, wholesale team. I've
We're
just
not
like
focused on the don't wants. We're focused on,
well, I want to not build.
no, see, this is why this
Well,
challenge was difficult, right?
right.
Why I chose this. Because again, when we're talking about anything, we automatically start looking at the parts that we don't
You're
want to
right.
figure
You're
out
right.
what we want.
You're right.
Therefore,
It's easy to do that too. It's
yeah,
really,
and
really.
then therefore we keep attracting what we don't want. So
Okay,
when
I want to focus on buying properties. That's what I want to focus on.
I do
And
too,
everything else is secondary, tertiary to that, right?
I,
Yeah.
I, I would say,
Buying properties and raising capital. That's what I want to focus on. And think about it. And I know it's like Jesse always talks about, if you had just focused on that, you would have gotten a really good at doing that, right? So that's what I
well, I
want
was
for us.
focused on finding really awesome people. That's where my focus,
Right, right.
and I
And
found
that's
that. I didn't
yeah.
veer off.
Yeah, you're that's true. And so but you and I both, like if we're partners, we should be the opposite sides of the same coin, right? We shouldn't be doing the same thing. We should be doing different things that complement each other.
I agree.
So if you're, I mean, that's not to say that we shouldn't both be networking, but your focus is finding people and building relationships and all of that. And you're really good at that and finding the resources, the human capital and the resources that we need. But I can help with that, but it shouldn't be my main focus, right? So if you're doing that, then let's focus you on something really intentional with that, right? Like wholesalers, brokers, agents, lenders, those folks that we're going to need, right?
Mhm.
And then for me, I continue to build relationships with maybe the people on the system side, maybe the operations manager people, because I can speak that language, right? A
Much
lot better
better
than,
than
right?
I
A lot
can.
better than you can. So
Mhm.
that's my intention. That's my focus when I'm networking, right? Systems, ops manager types, right? That's what I'm looking for. So, and that's perfect. So those two things, if we both do those things on a daily basis, we're gonna have more leads and
Opportunities, then
opportunities, and
we are gonna
we're,
know what to do with.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really not right, like I always do this. I always overcomplicate things, right? And it's partly because of my engineer type mind. I always have to know like the little nitty gritty details about it. It's like, no, shut up. shut up. You don't need to know all that stuff. Like, just shut up.
That's why
Like,
you have me,
right,
like,
right,
to remind you
right. Yes, and it's
that we don't have to know everything.
no, that's true. And you're good at that. You're good at
Trust
that.
me, I understand where you're coming from. My brain could be there too.
It's hard, well, it's hard for me to tell people like you should do what we're doing and not do that, because I did find some success doing that stuff, doing
Well,
the
you don't have
wholesale
to
stuff.
tell people not to do something. You could just
Right.
tell them your experience and they could still choose, right? This is
Hmm.
not about getting someone to like choose one way or another necessarily.
Mm,
It's about
mm,
more of giving people the information and letting
mm,
them decide what they're going to do with it. That's
mhm,
all any of this should be, right?
mhm, mhm,
Like, I'm not here to tell you what you're supposed, like, you got to decide for yourself.
mhm,
And I have to decide for myself. And if it's going to work for us, it just is. We're not going to force it, right? Like, if you know that you're good at something and you take on that, and then I take on something different and it works out well, then it's there's nothing, right? There's no like conflict, whatever. It just comes together. Like,
mhm,
it's all about choices, right?
mhm. It is.
And what you want to choose to do. So,
Mhm,
and our experiences are not all going to be the same either, right?
mhm.
Someone could do the exact same thing that you did, but for whatever reason, it worked for them, right? I don't know.
It's true. I'm not trying to convince people, but I'm talking more about the people who are on our team where their focus is that, and the it's not about like forcing them to go one direction or the other. It's about having them choose. But you know, how to go about that is maybe more of the question I'm asking myself. But it's not a big deal. It's not, you know, it's not a huge roadblock or anything. It's just something that I'm mulling over in my brain. You know,
Well,
you got
uh,
people on your team that are focused on a thing and they've been focused on it for a while, and you're moving a different direction, and they either need to come along or decide to not come along, right?
that's a tough one.
Yeah,
That's a tough one. I've been
yeah,
there, right?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
currently going through something like that.
yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
um, when you want people to come along with you on whatever it is, whatever type of journey, what kind, whether it be business, whatever. Not everyone's always going to fit or want to do what you want to do, regardless of who they are to you, right?
Hmm.
So sometimes you just have to accept that you're going to move forward without certain people. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, you know, like,
Yeah. And you know what I would say is, for the good ones, the door's open if you decide you want to come our direction with us, right? Maybe have it sort of like for the people who've seen that have been working their butts off and are actually taking action, like like, hey, the door's still open, you know? Like, we're not saying like don't ever talk to us again. Like, we're just saying we're focused on something else. Right. So
yeah, for sure. I
cool. Well, what
mean,
do you want?
I just want people to enjoy the nice weather when they can. Get
It's
out
nice
there.
here. It's nice here right
It's
now.
actually not bad outside today.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Um,
nice here right
I just haven't been doing a whole lot of activities right now.
now. Hmm.
Um, it'll get better.
It will get
Um,
better.
yeah, I just want people to actually like enjoy life. Get out there and live. Don't just exist. Um, take chances.
Yeah. So it's 70 degrees here right now and sunny.
Sunny
That's the weather.
here. It's sunny. Are you trying to like lure
I'm
me? I mean,
I'm bragging about California
it
weather right
doesn't
now.
take much to get me to hop on a plane and get the heck out of here anymore.
Hmm. Hmm.
Our highest will be 59. We're at 57 now. That's
That's
pretty
still not bad. That's still
good.
not bad. That's pretty, is it sunny?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's actually, I don't mind that at all. 60 degrees and it's sunny out.
No,
Yeah.
I'm surprised I don't see people out in their like daily
Yeah.
and shorts right
Yeah. 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 For real. For real.
now. That's how people get around here, like
It's true. I mean,
above 40 degrees. They're like, woohoo, it's summer.
uh, that's what it's like in Wisconsin too. It's like if it's not like, if it's above 40 degrees, everybody's out with their shorts on.
Right.
Um,
So do we want
so
to wrap this up or what?
sure, we can wrap it up.
All
I would
right.
just say, yeah, I would just sign off saying, get intentional. Um, uh, we need to do the same thing. That's what I want. And yeah, block out the time for relaxation, for family, for enjoying yourself, for taking care of yourself. Because if you're not doing all that, all this other crap doesn't matter. It really doesn't. What are you
I
gonna do? Run yourself into a wall and like then what? It's like, so what if you have money, if you're freaking your health is shot and you're, stressed out and freaking, you know, blown out because of it. you know?
I agree.
So
All right. We will see you guys tomorrow for day 10.